Ronin. Welcome, everybody, to another week of Onward, presented to you by the VR Master League. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's, and I'm here with my co-caster, Todd Habercorn. How are you today, Todd?
Oh, doing great. How about you, sir?
I am excellent. I'm looking forward to what I anticipate to be a pretty interesting matchup. Mob Squad versus Animal House. A silvered matchup, if you can believe it. I think if you had talked about this matchup maybe 2 seasons ago, you'd think, oh, this is a gold, maybe even a diamond tier matchup. But this is season 8, and they're both silver ranked right now. What are your thoughts on the rankings so far in this season, Todd?
Yeah, well, last season, I should say, we saw Animal House pretty much climbing to the top ranks, I think, with their lineup that they had last time. But since then, during the midseason, we've had some roster changes. Most notably, Silent Knight has left Animal House and joined the Forces of Blaze, and Box Toys has left just the team in general, I think, for no team so far, but that was fairly recent. So Animal House is a little gutted right now, but still a fighting force nonetheless.
Hopefully they'll have 5 and won't have to dip into the reservist pool. We'll keep an eye on the active rosters for you today. And speaking of rosters, we'll hop on into that with Mob Squad fielding R. Semper, Nolamite, Plots, Smithy, STB House, Bluega, and Phonic. And over on Animal House, Green Theft, F. Lipinski, Steven, Wicked Hex, and Willow the Wisp. It's pretty risky to be a team with only 5 active in your roster.
Yeah, no, the reservist roulette is always a stressful one if you ever have a guy or two who say that they can't make it to the match, because, they all have lives, stuff turns up.
Yeah.
But
you can never guarantee that you're going to get a solid reservist. And oftentimes if you get that reservist, if they're going to play well with your team or not, it's a total question too. I think I watched a series the other day where the reservist was the last one left alive, and a cap came through because he was so separated from the rest of the team. So it's definitely a risk to carry for sure. Sometimes it's a reward depending on where you're at,
and it depends on the reservists too. Some reservists are just so in tune with their surroundings, but some kind of have habits ingrained in them that they've always played by, and it could be completely different to how the team that they're playing for plays, and can be a massive liability.
Still waiting on that lobby to fire up, but it does give us time to analyze and discuss what we have for picked bans. As I say that, the lobby does come up, so we do know what our first map pick is as well. But I think we only have, at least I only have, 1 ban so far, and it is from Animal House, and it is a Subway ban.
Subway's kind of a throw out their ban. It's
I don't
not been played too much, so I don't know if this is something that's actually being done statistically, or
I think it's probably teams just getting scared of the enemy team being practiced on it and them not being prepared. That's the thing I can only really think. I mean, maybe statistically Mob Squad is strong on Subway, but
well, on those, I have those numbers for you.
Yeah.
Mob Squad has a 62% round win on Subway. That's round win, not match wins. But
Okay.
Animal House, on the other hand, only have a 43%.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
a bit of a discrepancy there. Seems like Animal House just don't practice it that much. Maybe
Yeah.
Mob Squad practices more. But whatever it is, Animal House felt the reason that this is not the match to be played today.
Yeah. Subway off the table. We're still unsure what Mob Squad's ban is. Maybe we'll get that information at some point in the start of the series. But we do have our first map pick here, and it is going to be Cargo. So we're going to be firing it off with a close quarters battle. I mean, we're wasting no time getting into the action with the Cargo map for map 1.
Oh, definitely not.
Especially with
It's
these
always
teams.
no, definitely not. They're both really skilled close quarter teams. You can expect them to rush hard or maybe change it up midway through, even in a round, to have a hard rush at first and then just stop midway and try to find picks. But either way, it's always interesting to watch.
Waiting on 2 more for Mob Squad to hop into the lobby, and it does look like Animal House have all 5. Their 5-man roster is in the lobby, so they've managed to field it. No subs coming in, and that's going to be a strong Animal House squad. We are getting word now that the ban from Mob Squad was Downfall, so the complete picture is a Subway ban, a Downfall ban, and a Cargo to start it off with. So we've gotten short and long range out of the way, so to speak.
Yeah, maybe Animal House is just not feeling the close range. They want to bring it out to the long range. But Mob Squad's just not having it. Who knows? There's kind of like a little battle within itself with these bans sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's definitely some mind games. It's pretty clear. I think it's safe to say that for our second map, we'll probably go to Quarantine with Mob Squad being it. Actually, this is Mob Squad's map pick, isn't it? Yeah, they're home.
They are home.
Yeah, Mob Squad actually opting into the close quarters even after. Well, they banned Downfall, right? That was Mob Squad's
Yes,
ban?
Mob Squad.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, they're Mob Squad's the team that's trying to stick to the close quarters, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe Animal House picking up a Quarantine. A lot of options left on the table as we saddle up for the start of this series. It does look like over on Mob Squad, we have 5 now in the lobby, so it's going to be R. Semper, Phonic, Bluega, Poopachu, and Traden. Poopachu being a reservist.
Trading as well.
Wow, Mob Squad with... That's interesting. It's kind of like a reverse of what you would expect, right? Mob Squad has 7 in their roster, and they can't manage to field 5, while Animal House, with only 5 on their roster, have a full squad there.
And I feel pretty sure that they're not going to be cycling anybody out. What you see is what you get. But Animal House, on the other hand, need to get their 5th person here. But I do believe there's actually a rule. Where? If both teams are trying to get reservists, they have to play a 4-on-4.
Animal House has
So-
5 in the lobby. I think they just had maybe a restart. Yeah, I'm not too...
Todd's not paying attention.
It's all right. Yeah, I do expect them to have that 5th rejoin at some point. Yeah, that's what he was in the lobby. So he'll be back, and we will be getting into this Cargo round to kick off. Should be a pretty interesting silver matchup. And you know, we talked in the VR Respawn show how Mob Squad has kind of fallen from grace this season. They've been on a bit of a downslope, and I mean, if it's any indicator, having to bring in 2 reservists definitely kind of shows that you're not firing on all cylinders.
Well, yeah, and there's that. And like I said before, everyone has lives.
Yeah.
Sometimes everyone just gets busy at the time. And as a team captain myself, there's just times where you just can't predict that. And the other team's not giving you many dates, and you're kind of stuck.
Why it's always good to have the extra player in the squad. It's always good to have the whole roster. So you can bring them in when time is that come up, and you know that's why you'll see some of these teams train their reservists, because they train their unactive players, because they want to make sure that if they have to bring one in for scheduling detail or anything like that, they'll be ready and prepared.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like some teams will even like pick teammates who are good on maps that the rest of the team isn't good on, so they can cycle them in and have an extra boost of confidence. At least with one very competent person, and the rest being mediocre on the team on that map.
Absolutely.
It's all an HR strategy.
Yeah, I think we have full lobby, so without further ado, we are underway, diving into the action. Round 1, map 1, Mob Squad versus Animal House. Thank you for tuning in. If you are just stopping by, make sure to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, get involved in the community, throw down some bits, throw down some cheers. Cheer for your favorite team. We are underway.
And a nice hard push coming out of Mob Squad and reservists. Our Semper going up halfway up the map to these buildings here, making a lot of noise. Wicked Hex might hear him out here shortly.
I think seems like Wicked's still pretty drawn on that doorway. He doesn't seem to have heard Semper push in here. Now Semper with that move inside the crate. Wicked definitely has his eyes focused, but a nade from Poopachu, a great toss. Catches Wicked out, and that's going to open up this whole little middle area for our Semper.
Now keep in mind, Poopachu back in, I think, Season 5 did have a stint with Mob Squad, so he's not fresh blood for Mob Squad by any means. He knows these people.
Yeah, it is true. He might be a pretty nice reservist to slip in, and he, as I say, that Semper trading with Green Theft, and Mob Squad are looking good. They're in a 4v3 now as they're pushing up Will-O-Wisp. Probably going to be the next one that gets into engagement, as F. Lipinski actually finds out Blue Lega trying to push up through the gap there towards objective, getting a little over-aggressive.
One motherfucker down.
Steven getting a pick on our Semper with the interesting call out to his team.
Yeah, that is a team-wide call out. As soon as I switched to the other kill, he said the exact same thing. So definitely something that Animal House do.
I don't think we would expect anything less from Steven.
Yeah. That's the whole, I'm saying it's the whole team. It's not just Steven.
That's true.
Willow
Animal
also
House
said,
are a bunch of animals.
yeah, they
I
really
think they're the most appropriately named team out there.
Yeah, I do agree. And we are now into a 2v3. Animal House have managed to stop what looked like a pretty good push, an early advantage from Mob Squad. And the cross here from Steven. He gets tagged, but he'll be able to heal up, and he now knows where Poopachu is. Trade in as well. Ooh.
I don't even know if we should keep calling him Mob Squad. I think it's just the reservists.
Yeah, this is it right here. The reservist squad, so to speak. Lipinski finding trade and Poopachu looking for the refrag. Gets him on the reload. Willow managing to catch Poopachu on the tail end, and Animal House with one left alive. Start off the map with a lead.
Very good push from Mob Squad. Very far up, very commanding of the map, but kind of just fell apart there at the 2/3 mark, right by these sets of containers. I think it's probably one of the side effects of running with 2 reservists. You know, you don't have that unison going on.
Yeah, but like you said, Poopachu is sort of familiar with the Mob Squad play style, and I mean, communication is really something that I think you'll see at any sort of pub lobby or any comp lobby. You know, you have to be communicating your kills when one's down, where you see them. Even if there aren't universal callouts, there's still ways to identify, you know, where people are, and so I'm sure as a reservist, a seasoned reservist nonetheless, Poopachu and Traden should be able to fill in pretty well, and I mean, they put a pretty good effort there. They almost took that round from Animal House. They started it off with a real nice advantage.
Yeah, it came down to the last 2 people, Poopachu versus Willow there, but Willow had the upper hand from being the peeker's advantage, I believe.
he was tucked into that back side, and Pupachu, I mean, if he hadn't gotten caught, Pupachu was going in for a cap, honestly, so a nice play there by Willow to deny that. We'll see if Mob Squad can mount an equally impressive defensive strategy here as we dive into round 2.
Some early smokes going out to the midfield.
Pretty standard placement. This is a high traffic lane here. Usually a lot of pre-fire coming through, and actually none here. They set up for a pretty standard defense. Almost the exact same defense that came out from Mob Squad.
And a very similar attack coming out of Animal House as well. Wicked Hex almost pushing up to the same spot where Semper pushed up to last round.
Green Theft getting ready to make his entry onto Phonic. I wonder if he'll be ready for Phonic inside there.
Key is right now is to get up as close as you can and be as quiet as you can.
Pupachu does manage to catch out Steven trying to push up there, and the nice early pick for Mob Squad. It's going to probably hold up Lipinski and actually causes Green Theft Auto to back off from his early pushed angle, so.
Some good old-fashioned looting going on off of body of Steven.
You can see Pupachu's laser peeking through this smoke. He definitely has his line of sight drawn right towards these smokes, so he's keeping an eye on it. Lipinski getting ready to enter in, and a nade coming in. A nice toss. Just gets caught inside the building and misses too.
Flash nade probably caught Green, but there's no follow-up in order to finish off that kill. Green runs into the building, gets caught out by Phonic. Clearly was not expecting that.
Oh, no, he was not at all. He was anticipating Phonic to be behind these crates because he definitely had his eyes kind of trained over into that corner. But Phonic, with the close angle and an unfortunate team kill from Willow on the backside, puts Animal House into a 1v4. And it's looking like Mob Squad are going to be putting a round on the board unless Willow can really come up with some sort of miraculous comeback here.
I know Willow's a good player, but that's 4 very strong players that he has to go up against. Not looking exactly great for him.
It was going to be a tall order. I don't even think he has utility available here either.
There's a lot of utility being brought out there. And it sounds like Traden is trying to taunt Willow, but it doesn't give him the advantage at all. Matter of fact, it gives away his position as Willow finds that pick.
Oh, and there is some utility left. He's going to try and smoke this gap and cross, and it might cost him his life. Oh, almost gets through. Phonic managing to catch him through the smoke, and that was a nice little smoke push there. He was denying vision appropriately, but just not quite enough. Mob Squad on the board, 1-1.
Yeah, the directional smoke is definitely a nice feature. It allows you to kind of point where you want the obstruction to be. You can adequately place it if you want to just put it right where you are, but throwing it, that becomes more of a roulette wheel.
It really does. Yeah, it's such a huge gamble. You can't really afford to risk it. And take a look at the KDs. Traden and Pupachu, the 2 reservists, 1-2 and 2-1 respectively. So contributing enough to be useful. I mean, that's all you can ask out of a reservist, right? And like you said, that reservist pool is pretty strong. Pupachu and Traden are pretty good. So Animal House are still going to have to play their maximum potential here if they want to take this round from Mob Squad.
Yeah, Mob Squad currently have former Space Force and former SMC Tactical on their side here. And keep in mind, Space Force did take out Mob Squad last week. I believe it was last Sunday with me and Sleepy casting that. So definitely some strong reservists assisting Mob Squad here today. so far, I think it's living up to being a silver matchup.
Yeah.
I'm seeing pretty even gameplay across the board here.
Pretty even and pretty rowdy.
Literally what I do.
When you get down into the face of these players, they are both squads are a rambunctious bunch, but yeah, Animal House are really just a bunch of jokesters.
To a guy. Let's say scenario. Okay, let's say the guy's dead, and you don't want to shoot him. What are you gonna do? Slap him to death? You gotta stab him. Oh shit, we gotta go.
They just love to play hard and have fun.
They really do. This is definitely a match that they are having a good time in. Our Semper pushing in aggressive. Exact same strategy they had last map, or last round, as he gets inside this crate. Maybe be looking for green theft? Not sure what his line of sight is once he gets inside this crate.
Once again, we see our Semper pushing all the way up to those crates again. He is kind of caught in between green. He's caught in a pretty hard place. He's pretty much pinched here. And cut off from the rest of his squad.
Yeah, I think green theft has hurt him running around inside the crates. Will-O-Wisp, not aware that he's gotten through there, but Mob Squad blowing up the pace just a bit as they aren't really rushing in through the center, as we've seen a lot of the cargo maps unfold in just sort of a chaotic start. Bit of a slow start here.
If I'm not mistaken, it looks like our Semper is trying to find that pick on green, but doesn't exactly know where to pinpoint him. But it doesn't matter. Bluega catches him out, I believe. Or was it Poopachu? I think it was Poopachu.
And Wicked Hex refragging, picking up a frag, onto Bluega, and a nice nade there from Traden. Mob Squad pushing in with a 4v3 advantage. Wicked Hex trying to shoot through the gap in that crate door. If he peeks here, he may be able to find one.
This is the chance for Mob Squad to begin taking the map after losing the first round. They're doing pretty well. They just down the guy on objective. That is a massive accomplishment right there. Opens up so many plays. Forces the rotation out of Steven to come back to objective.
Be able to get the res. Going to turn it back into a 3v4. Wicked Hex going to maintain that position in the crate. It is a key position, and he's got to be careful. Those toes, they get exposed. Phonic able to dial in on him and shoot the feet out of Wicked Hex, trying to throw a nice nade out there. Not quite.
And Wicked already has a decent lead collection in his body, so any more shots to his toes probably means he'll be taken out of this round for good.
Death from lead poisoning, as they call it. Lipinski with a nade around the corner. Looks good on the Phonic. Can he move in time? He doesn't. Phonic goes down. Wicked Hex finds one, and Mob Squad are dropping quickly. Our Semper managing to pick up Steven, and Poopachu trained in here on Wicked Hex as he finds an over-aggressive Hex, and now it's a 1v2. Just like that, Mob Squad with back into the advantage.
Finding these small picks on objective is so incremental. It's so important too. Being able to basically be able to formulate an attack mid-round. Lipinski's now really caught between. Really tough. I forget the expression for that actually. I lost it midway through that. Rock in a hard place, yeah. My English is failing me today, sir.
Okay, you gotta start reading the dictionary some more.
It's not the greatest
read. He gets picked by Semper on the peak, and that peaker's advantage coming into play as Mob Squad go into the lead with 2 reservists, 2-1.
Definitely monumental after Animal House took that first win, which, for those of you not familiar, if you take the first win and you keep trading back and forth, especially that we see in these silver matchups, these silver versus silver matchups, which are so common, that first win is so important. But Mob Squad showing that, we don't need that.
I think this is the right map pick too. Cargo, you can definitely sort of rely on individual skill a lot more than other maps. I wonder if we'll see this level of success with Mob Squad when we go into a map like Quarantine, or maybe even Bazaar, where that coordination can help so much more.
historically, Season 4 Mob Squad dominated those long-range maps. We're a very dominant force in the American, or the North American League, for that matter. I wonder if we'll see any kind of reminiscence come out of that later on today. As both teams are strategizing right now, especially Animal House. They are down a point here. They need to make that back up.
It's going to be hard. They did just lose the Marsoc round, so the best way is to answer back right now with a Marsoc round of their own.
Well, we'll see if they can do it here in round 4.
Area 51, baby.
Joking about a Facebook meme.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
They are, as we've said, quite the jokesters, but they know what they're doing as they dump a ton of smokes out into this front line. None of them really too successful, as Bluega manages to catch out a couple before getting traded there with Lipinski. The rest of this team pushing up, getting slowly flanked by our Semper, who may not get there in time, as well. The Wisp and Steven are crashing forward. They're almost behind the entire defense. Steven's pushing up to Cap. He gets past Phonic. Where's the objective here? Steven's inside of objective building. He needs to push up to objective, and Cap right now, nobody's got eyes here.
He can do it. He just needs to. He's choosing to go inside the container. He has his tablet out. Has he memorized the code quick enough to Cap in time?
I think he's got it. Phonic not going to
He's got
rotate an Animal House. Celebratory screams from Steven as Animal House in a quick swing utilize their teamwork and coordination to push up 3-2.
Definitely important Cap at this point.
Huge.
They've regained their advantage and now force match point on Mob Squad. Mob Squad can't afford to make any more mistakes at this point. I think another thing that we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of change up in the style. Like before we were seeing a lot of like quick starts but slow finishes, but right there what we just saw was a quick start and a quick finish. A very aggressive push from Animal House's front.
Yeah, you started to see teams a little bit more comfortable committing to those kind of, well, what I mean, you consider crazy caps because they just risk it all. They get through the defense. And I don't know why Phonic didn't push out of that building after he took shots towards Steven, because you have to know at that point that, you know, he's over by objective and you got to push, but
yeah, it can be so rewarding to push up to a point where the enemy team doesn't really expect you at, but at the same time, it's so incredibly risky. If your back end falls out, it's on you to double back to objective.
Yeah, Steven did nearly go down. Phonic just missing those shots. And we'll see how Mob Squad decide to answer back for round number 4 of this first map here.
Just pushed up really fast.
Oh, the crossing. Our Semper nearly landing some shots there. Can't quite tag F. Lipinski as he gets across. And Semper is pushing up pretty aggressively, maybe trying to mimic a sort of push through the defense here, but they have a lot of angles covered.
Semper is really liking to find these spots in these containers right on the enemy line and trying to preoccupy them.
All Squad's getting aggressive. They've pushed in hard. Willow's behind the enemy now as he does start to flank Bluega. Should be able to find the back of one at least as Pupachu now turning around. Lipinski finding Semper completely exposed. Pupachu getting shot in the back as well, and this flank from Willow is paying off as Mob Squad now into a 2v4.
Ponic does find Will-O-The-Wisp, which is so important because he was their flanker. And now it depends on the guys on objective to find these picks and finish it off for Animal House.
Still have Wicked Hex tucked in. I don't know if Phonic is going to be ready for Wicked in that corner. And I don't think I've seen anybody ever tuck themselves into this corner before, but it is a nice spot, and he definitely is going to be catching Phonic out.
Down tunnel.
And a nice clean kill coming out of Wicked. It's now on to Traden to see if he can carry it through for Mob Squad and tie the game up. Or win it.
I mean, Wicked's position right now basically puts Animal House into a 2v1. If Traden decides to push into objective, he's just got to face up against Green Theft and Lipinski. If he rotates here, he is going to have to face off, most likely against Wicked Hex again. But he's got a lot of time. 4:10 on the clock, and he's going to drop back, wave to the cameras, and maybe reevaluate his strategy.
Remember, this is not his MMR on the line, so he can do whatever he wants.
It's his time to shine. His time to be in the spotlight.
Well, because he waved to us, it's only appropriate that I say hi, Traden. We appreciate you recognizing us. Still evaluating his options at the midpoint. He's got a tall order.
Yeah, I don't know if he has any utility left. But I mean, the lines of sight aren't really there for Animal House. If Traden just takes this main lane, he can push up. I mean, he can get inside the crate and push up against this wall pretty well. F. Lipinski doesn't have an angle there. There are some gaps here that if he can properly navigate them, he should be able to find his way towards objective. But I think Lipinski is covering this exact angle here. And I really like that smoke.
Animal House are risking nothing. They're not pushing out too far. They have Wicked at a somewhat comfortable distance from the objective, but they do have two people directly on the objective, watching those corners. Even if their kill counts are correct, they definitely want this win.
2:20 on the clock. Traden playing it nice and easy. He's got a 1v3 to deal with, and I'm not even sure he's aware of how many are alive on the enemy team, so not really safe to assume that there's only 3 left.
Yeah, the quality of the kill count goes down as you lose more friendlies because, well, they're dead.
Looking like a good comeback right now from Animal House with that cap from Steven and then pretty solid defense here in this 3v1. As long as they can hold on here, they're going to be taking map number 1, and this was Mob Squad's map choice, so they're going to be going into their map pick for that second map.
And trying to sneak his way up here through the container maze. Almost had a line of sight from Lipinski. Luckily enough for our boy in blue,
Yeah, because Traden
was not noticed.
Because Traden went prone, he also managed to avoid Wicked Hex's vision, so maneuvering may pay off. If Lipinski peeks, he definitely could be exposing some feet here to Traden. I think this is the right route to be taking. Unless Green Theft spots him and takes him down. Animal House taking the first map 4-2.
Very decisive, well, I wouldn't say decisive, but a very powerful win coming out of Animal House.
Yeah, solid comeback. A good bit of back and forth there in these rounds. Mob Squad coming into play, even with 2 reservists. Definitely putting up a good fight. And I'm curious how they are going to square away as we go into another close quarters map where I think Mob Squad are going to have a decent advantage. We're going to be going into Suburbia.
Always a crowd favorite.
Oh, yeah.
The close quarters It's not as close quarters as Cargo, but it still has so many good close quarter elements and lanular activity that I think we all just know and love Suburbia for what it is.
Lanular.
Lanular. See if that's in the dictionary.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta start reading it.
I like making up words. It's fine. Get your mind thinking. Get your noggin going.
Not seeing any subs coming in for either side, so sticking with both squads they ran on Cargo, which isn't really surprising. Suburbia, an equally close quarters map.
I don't think Mob Squad can afford any subs that they're putting into
No.
reservists. Matter of fact, I think they need more subs.
It's so Animal House is interesting to watch because they do have so much fun. They are always so loose, but they are capable, and they do have that teamwork. They played so long together that they still have that cohesion that you would not expect from teams that joke around like that. You know, most of the time squads are pretty serious. They got to be pretty focused on keeping their strategy tight. Animal House are so, you know, loose when they come into rounds, but they're still able to throw a smoke line and get Steven up to cap, and you know they're able to pull off these plays.
Like you said, they have been playing together for a while, and I think they feel really comfortable playing in
Yeah.
league matches. And maybe one of the things that go in for their advantage is they might actually just not take it seriously. They don't feel the pressure. They just think of it as like a game where let's try to do our best, but let's have a lot of fun with it.
Very true. It's a
It's-
good way to
there's
play.
a lot.
A good way to play
there's a lot-
play the league.
There's a lot of psychology involved in a league game because there's something to lose, unlike your standard mom and pop comp lobby.
Some smokes coming in. Bluega with an aggressive position, and Carports potentially get caught out by a nade toss coming up and over. Does catch him in the back, and now they might have to send one to rotate here as the push comes in from the center.
Definitely a risky res. Oh, but our Semper goes for it anyways.
So risky. I cannot believe he's over here. Shots coming in from Green Theft through to the carport. Very fortunate on those rounds landing. Smoke's coming in, and Bluega does catch Green Theft. I wonder if Steven's going to be looking for their refrag coming out here. Wicked Hex on the backside, however, catches two, and we're in a full-out firefight.
Now Steven is much more capable of taking over this middle house, which is so crucial to capturing this objective because our Semper rotated to get that res.
Ooh! Push up the stairs, Steven finds one, and Semper here now one of two left alive for Mob Squad in a 2v3. Semper needs to get in there and deny Steven that second story because he's got a real great firing line onto Pupachu right now.
Still, as we speak, there is still great coverage on objective for Mob Squad, but Semper is no longer looking at it. He is focused on trying to take out Steven. Steven is a very noisy one. He's very easy to find out if you just keep a good ear out.
I think Steven may be confused onto whether or not this one around the corner is an enemy. He's going to try and smoke out in front of him. I just don't know if Steven saw Semper or not, but Semper is going to slow push up here, and I think Steven's going to tuck in, and we might see a little trade here for the final kill. Oh!
A nice pick from Semper onto Steven.
Where's the cap attempt? You know, where has Willow been this whole time? Finally, Lipinski finds Semper in the center, but Animal House had a cap opportunity there. Either way, they take a point and they take the lead 1-0.
One of the crucial things that a team needs to learn out of Master is to say, I'm on objective.
Yeah.
Don't kill him, or keep him occupied. Sometimes if you're able to get up that close, it's okay to let them kill you if you were trying to go for the code. As long as you have some guy to get the refrag.
Yeah, Willow was in a pretty good spot there. He was just finally starting to rotate out of that Volk spawn building, and he was going to come on that other side of the tank there and be able to cap pretty much uncontested, but, you know, point's a point. Round win is a round win, and Animal House managed to take that 1-0.
Yeah, and even if Lipinski didn't win against our Semper there, our Semper really couldn't have done anything in time. Willow is such a strong player. He probably would have been able to get that code in before Semper could have even gotten out the door.
It's been a fun series to watch so far. Definitely some interesting maneuvers coming in from the reservists and the squads alike, and I've been enjoying the silver matchups that I've been tuning into lately. It's been really good, solid back and forth. Teams really battling it out for those map wins, and it's like, I don't know the appropriate
Well, we have to
analogy,
wait
but
no longer for any more action as we pop into round 2.
I don't need no more. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Traden.
I have enough grenades. Yeah.
Traden was saying hi to me.
oh darn, I was watching Animal House.
Ah. Oh,
Hello, Trade.
much and I appreciate it.
Trip saw you. Or Todd saw you. The push coming in from Mob Squad. Bluega and Semper are up here real fast. Traden has eyes on. Steven's trying to throw nades out, but they're so far past the offense because they've pushed up so far forward here. Steven, oh, against a 1v2 against Bluega, can't find Semper.
But Willow gets the refrag.
Nade coming out as well. Into a
Smoke's going out as Animal House defend the advantage with a 4-on-3. I don't think I'm seeing as much aggression coming out of Mob Squad as we saw with Animal House the previous round. I think they're trying to play this one a lot more cleaner. Maybe not go for the objective.
.4:30 on the clock, so Mob Squad does have a lot of time to allow for this rotation from Poopachu to happen.
Traden finds
catching out Green Theft and into a 3v2. Poopachu with a pretty good smoke. Should deny some vision onto Willow here. Not going to deny vision onto Lipinski.
Willow's chopping out on Phonic. Managed to get that pick. And Animal House in a 2v1 now.
So much fire from both sides.
And Lipinski is launching himself onto Poopachu and finishes the round. Along with a little cheesy Animal House style joke at the end. Animal House
expect from them.
Yeah, as you would, yeah. But Animal House are running away with the game here. If I'm not mistaken about how the points are right now. It's total. It's Mob Squad 2 and Animal House at 6 so far.
Yeah.
With Animal House obviously having the first win.
Definitely taking advantage of the bit of a downswing that Mob Squad is on in this season, and obviously 2 reservists does in the long run not help, but there are good reservists, so it has allowed Mob Squad to hang in and compete against Animal House, but definitely not making it any easier. That's for sure. And we'll see if maybe they can turn it around. Definitely going to need to mount some sort of comeback, and it could definitely it's going to start on this Volk round that they're coming up on. It is on the north side, so I feel like the north side objectives are some of the easier ones to properly defend. A lot less flank opportunities and fast angles to get hit from.
They're far less capable just from the terrain around them, I think, whereas in the south side you have the whole middle house, you have the tank, you have a garage, whereas up here you have cars. Pretty much it. Cars and some cement blocks, if you're lucky. Breaking the fourth wall again.
So getting an early pick, managing to catch Steven out with some of that pre-fire across the long lane, but because there is that cinder block there, Steven doesn't get confirmed, and Lipinski able to res, and Bluega catching out Willow.
I am able to hear Steven from halfway across the map.
Yeah, he is a loud
probably
one with
one
those
of
comms.
He is one of the most vocal players in Onward. Never a dull moment.
Bluega's in a bit of a bind here. He's got a couple of Marsoc guys trained onto him. Wicked Hex, Green Theft aware of his position, and Steven now making an approach. Lipinski does go past and they trade. Bluega was resable. He gets confirmed by Steven, and now Animal House with only 3 left are into a 3v4.
This is looking good for Mob Squad's reverse sweep opportunity here. They can just hold their angles. Wait for Animal House to make any expeditious peaks. Knowing Steven, he's probably thinking about the objective as we speak.
Most coming out, but not on objective, and an unfortunate team kill onto Steven from Green Theft. That's not what Animal House need. Now they're going to go into a 2v4. And no more utility that he can scavenge there, so they're really in a bind.
Yeah, each player pretty much has to find 2 people, which is not an easy task by any means. And it just got even harder because Arsember just picked Wicked Hex.
All up to Green Theft, the lone survivor. Gonna have to face off against 4 Mob Squad, and really gonna have to pull something out. He knows, he said himself, it's gonna be hard, so we'll see what he can do.
It's always the worst feeling in the world when you pull that tablet and all you see is 1 green dot. Mob Squad are looking really good right now. They've got coverage on all angles. They've spread out pretty decently to cover all, at least have eyes on all lanes. Green wants to take this map. He'll have to pull some major magic.
Yeah, I imagine Poopachu is gonna have eyes on him if he peeks this corner too much.
And it's not exactly a spot that people naturally look toward. It's so far back, you wouldn't really even think of it.
Thank you, Sam. Nade coming out from Poopachu. Good toss. Right on point, and down goes Green Theft.
Even green is like beautiful nade. Compliments the Poopachu. What a nade.
That's never a KD you want to see in a league match. -1 and 3.
Ooh. Even the most practiced of teams do it though. We all get antsy. Now it's Animal House's turn to defend the same objective due to simultaneous objectives. I don't think it's the right word. My English is failing me today.
But you're trying to get too fancy on us.
Maybe. I like to think I have a diverse lexicon.
See, there you go.
I know some things. I'm just dumb in others. Then again, what do you expect? I'm here commentating on people shooting each other in a video game.
Hey, there's a lot of skill and analysis that goes on here on board the VRML, alright?
That is true.
We're all just having a good time. I just like flying cams around. I get to do it a little bit more as we hop into round number 4. There haven't been any caps yet on this Suburbia map, but there very well could be. Yeah.
This is Mob Squad's chance to take the advantage if they do cap. Get their first map win of the day. They so desperately need at this point.
Little team powwow before Animal House decide to push out into their defensive positions, and Mob Squad opting to send 3 up along the west side.
A lot of LMG fire coming out here, trying to suppress any lane movements. Seems to be Animal House has got pretty tucked in and cozy. Spots where they really want to be.
A lot of pre-fire through the wood walls here. Wood fences, excuse me, just to see if there's anybody defending there, and the smoke's not quite where they need them. Will-O-Wisp still with a decent line of sight. F. Lipinski and Wicked Hex all actually still having vision here onto this east lane.
Ooh, and Will-O-Wisp gets a nice pick on Traden, shutting down the lane 1 approach. Well, not exactly. Shutting down half of it, I'll say. But a nice nade takes down Willow on his front porch.
Great toss from Poopachu, and he's going to capitalize on that. Tries to get past Wicked Hex, who does catch the crouch and manages to catch out Poopachu. And Willow is down and irresolute, so one potentially able to be brought back as another goes down. Mob Squad into a theoretical 3v3 with irresolute.
Willow calling out Phonic in his final moments before getting that double tap in. Our Semper chooses to go
I'm in lane 3, Green. I'm in lane 3.
around to lane 1 where he is actually actively getting called out by Willow himself. I think he hears it too, so he's opted to go even further out. Make sure he doesn't exactly get called out by Willow.
Phonic is tucked in here. The smoke has gone, so Steven should have eyes onto Phonic in this porch, but I just don't think he can see him behind this tree.
Possibly 3.
Phonic is pretty much cornered, judging by vision-wise, between Green Theft and Lipinski's positioning.
One down, another one down.
Steven finally caught him out as he botched that nade there, almost killing himself, and it does come down to Semper, who's going to have to fight off who he thinks There's an alive Will-O-the-Wisp there, but it is not. He has 3 minutes left to prone across this lane.
Now Willow is still up, and he can radio to Lipinski to shoot in his general direction if Lipinski has been checking his tablet at all. I guess he opts not to.
I wonder if Willow even sees this. Very few lasers trained over onto this lane. Semper does stand up, though, exposing himself a bit. He tries to drop back with 2:30 left.
I think he was still called out by Willow on his way back. Lipinski might have a general idea that he might be coming that way.
Well, the jig's up now as some rounds come in from Green Theft, just barely missing Semper as he tucks behind the Hesco boxes. And oh, he does get tagged once there.
Semper is still getting pretty much cornered in by the positioning of Animal House here, showing a pretty strong defense on this objective. I don't think Semper is really knowing what he wants to do as he cycles back to lane 1.
So hard to cross these streets solo. I think the best option was to prone across. Just hope no one sees you kind of crawling there. Now that Willow's gone, they don't really have the greatest of vision.
I think Semper's just looking for those picks in order to free up some lanes, but Animal House is just too well tucked in, and now he's going for the suicide run across the street. Will he make it? Steven's right there.
Oh, sorry,
Couldn't
I
it?
didn't mean to curse. Dang it! Surprise!
An apologetic Steven.
That's very surprising. It's interesting when he notices he curses, and when then it's he's swearing out the gills after winning a round. Like it's very interesting.
We try to be family-friendly here. We can't guarantee the player side.
Not. Especially in the heat of the action. It was a surprise, though. A nice pop-up there from Steven. Animal House now up 3-1 on Suburbia. Looking to take that series with a nice deciding first 2 maps.
Now we move on to white car objectives. Not gonna be easy at all for Animal House, as this is a very defendable objective in my opinion.
Yeah, if mob squads separate their reservists to be too far away, though, that's when the communication and let go can really come into effect. So, as long as reservists are on the objective and communication is there between everybody, I agree. But kind of lose control of things on the OBJ. Things can go bad south because it's, you know, just one lane away from Marsoc push.
I think the Traden's calling the shots on the Volk side here.
Interesting to hear that, considering he is the reservist. But when you're all pretty dedicated to playing competitively, it's not hard to strategize together.
Traden does know how to play the game very well, even though he is a reservist. He's he's probably one of the strongest reservists on the roster there.
comes in from Green Theft. Is it close enough? Bluega does manage to push out from that corner, so he's safe.
A little too much hot sauce on that throw.
Yep. Another nade. Also a bit too far.
Green now rushing up. No sound suppression coming from him. Bluega finds him through the bushes. Willow, seeing his down friend.
Oh, Willow was flashed, but Wicked Hex backing him up manages to catch out Bluega before he can make any more pushes onto Willow. And a near team kill situation right there as Willow rounds the corner, and Animal House now into a 3v4 with control. This side is Traden nearly botches a grenade onto himself.
Traden botching a grenade as he is the on objective guy. Be bad news.
Man, if Animal House had some smokes to throw out here on this subjective lane, I think they'd have a real good chance of pushing. Traden and our Semper really with the only decent positions to quickly respond as Poopachu catches out Wicked Hex trying to rotate.
I got one on lane 3.
Animal House are beginning to try to take it slow again. Trying to find these picks. They're so important along this back street. As when the smoke clears, you have to cross the road, and it makes you so exposed.
You can see Traden's line of sight pretty dialed in here to the potential prone cross. You're going to have to deal with him first. Semper can also easily dial into that same angle.
Pinsky is trying to back up Willow, but I don't know from what. A little far behind. He's moving up now.
Willow should have eyes on Traden there, and he does manage to take him down before he can be identified. Semper now is going to have to keep his eyes trained on this objective. If Willow kept going, he might have been able to just prone cross right up to objective.
Yeah, especially under the watchful eyes of Lipinski. And Lipinski is radioing to Willow to go to objective, but Willow is ignoring all of his snake intentions. But our Semper is right on the other side of that fence. Will our Semper try to peek around?
Oh, why? Where was he going? He was across. He had made it there. He just had to go towards objective and try and cap. Doesn't push forward, and it's got Mob Squad on the panic because now they have no one on objective. Lipinski still holding his ground, though, as Poopachu positions himself on the patio.
And now we're back to square one.
Yep.
Like I said, even though these people are reservists, they are probably some of the most experienced reservists we have on the deck here. Poopachu formerly serving his time with both Mob Squad, a former team called This Can't Be Blank, and SMC Tactical. All of which are incredible teams. He definitely knows his stuff.
Got a bit of a lull here. Only a minute left for Lipinski to make his move. Poopachu's not going to look for the pick. He's going to wait for Lipinski to push out towards objective. He can afford to do that with only 40 seconds left because he knows they're going to have to make that cross if they want to get to that cap.
And time is on his side. If the timer does run out, Mob Squad automatically take the win. It's looking pretty good for them, even though Lipinski is only like, what, 20 feet from objective?
Yeah, I just don't know how he's going to get Poopachu here unless he really just kind of stands up and sprint shots it, but Poopachu not even the one to catch him out. Phonic actually through the wood fence. Keeps Mob Squad in it. Now we're into a defensive round. I mean, you said this one's a hard one to cap, but now with Animal House on the defense, definitely going to be a tough order for Mob Squad to get this Marsoc round.
And we have definitely seen some pretty incredible defense coming out of Animal House today. Been throwing Mob Squad curveballs the entire match. Animal House are currently the only ones who I think have capped at all. That may change. Mob Squad are on a theoretical match point here. If they can get the objective in, they can take their first map and force map 3 to decide who wins for both the MMR and the round.
Both squads taking full time between rounds, excuse me, to hash out strategy. And I mean, you could definitely hear with Mob Squad, Trade-In and the reservists contributing to the planning phase here, and that's probably what's going on now as Mob Squad try and gather together a decent strategy to approach this objective.
Bot. Objective.
466 7518. 466 7518.
466 7518.
Mob Squad are completely focused on getting this cap in now, as they're trying to memorize the code in the spawn.
Definitely a decent option if they can get the right smoke placements. Able to push, but we'll see how that unfolds. Mob Squad sort of posting up into some early positions as Animal House set up very similar defense to that of Mob Squad.
This time we're seeing Will-O-the-Wisp in place where Steven was previously in the objective previous. Shows you how versatile Animal House really is. They feel comfortable with each other's positioning.
Smokes coming out from Mob Squad, not quite angling how you'd want them to. They are pretty decently smoking Lipinski's corner, but Mob Squad is not really utilizing these smokes for anything.
Yeah, they're kind of just letting them cook off and probably intimidate the team a little bit, but the most optimal way to use them is if you're going to actually make your push in and try to confuse the enemy as much as possible.
Wow,
It doesn't help if you're just going to sit back.
that green and red smoke are pretty good. They're denying some good solid vision there.
And it makes it look like Christmas.
Sure does.
Willow peeks his head up right now. He might be able to find Bluega, but Lipinski's was focused on it, but loses to the pick, but Wicked does find the refrag.
Ooh, Phonic was on objective getting ready to cap. Willow did peek up. Trade-In's pushing forward as well. Mob Squad getting aggressive here on the objective as Trade-In trades with Willow. Actually, Poopachu's nade down Trade-In, so not a trade.
A team kill at the worst possible moment. But Poopachu does find the crucial pick on Green Theft Auto. Will he go res Traded or will he cap or do both? Traded is on objective. He has tablet out. Steven is rushing back.
Yep, this is going to be a cap for Mob Squad. Nade's coming in. A good flash.
Oh, but a good flash.
A great
Traded
flash.
is disabled on objective.
Oh.
Finds Poopachu.
Oh.
It finds Traded.
I am the one, the son to see me running. Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. You said, and
Wow, what a fantastic play from Animal House. Mob Squad trying to finish off the map, trying to take it to a series-deciding map 3, but Steven with the flash and double kill combo. Whew, what a nice play.
Traded on objective while Traded was tablet out. Forces Traded not being able to read or do anything on the tablet because he is blinded completely. Traded backs up. Steven immediately starts focusing on taking out his friend, Poopachu, nails that, then goes directly for Traded and wins map 2 and the game for Animal House.
Yeah, that is the series for Animal House with a nice, clean 2-map win. We still go to that third and final map for that MMR decider, so I'm curious to see what Mob Squad decide to opt into since we've already knocked out Cargo and Suburbia. Not a lot of close quarters maps left on the table.
And as a quick reminder, we do have Subway and Downfall banned by Animal House and Mob Squad respectively. We might see some Q2 action, or Q1 action, I should say. I'm sorry. Just some Q action, I should just say. It could be either. I, for one, am not against whipping out the flashlight and taking on a casting of a night map.
Maybe Tanker. Going option.
We've been seeing a lot more Tanker recently. I don't think I've casted a match without Tanker. But that might end today. That streak might end today on Animal House, or I'm sorry, Mob Squad's choice, as they are home. It seems to be Mob Squad are getting really picky at trying to find their optimal map to take on the house with.
I think maybe they're just trying to cycle through all the. They probably just couldn't get quarantine day or something, and it is indeed going to be quarantine for our third map.
Our first long-range map. I'm surprised Mob Squad actually didn't choose Quarantine to start off with. I felt like they would be better on a longer range map.
We'll see if they will be kicking themselves for their decision making or not, as we do have the lobby getting ready. Really fun series though. Animal House teamwork is there, you know, and even though they only have 5 in their roster, it's the 5 that like to play together and that have always played together. So they still have the team cohesion and the ability to compete at a high level. And I think obviously Mob Squad having 2 reservists is affecting their play. But I wonder if it's actually more positive than negative, because Traden and Poopachu are doing pretty well for this team in this series so far.
I mean, they almost got on a cap on the last round, and if they were successful, if it wasn't for Steven going full Rambo in the final seconds of that round, they could have won Suburbia for Mob Squad. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with those 5 seconds being the decider, though. That was pretty incredible from Steven.
Yeah, that was definitely going to be I don't know. It's early in the week, but it's definitely the play of the week for me.
My first game, but it's my play of the week.
Yeah. Still got a lot of action left to come. Although not for me.
Still waiting on one more from the Animal House side. I think, who was it? Green, Willow, Steven, Lipinski. Who am I missing? I'm blanking here. Wicked, right. One of their newer additions, along with Lipinski from Season 7. I think we forgot to mention that too. Animal House has changed their face in the league a little bit over the past 2 seasons, I'd say, with their additions of like Lipinski, dropping Kagan, amongst other things amongst their rocksters. But I think Silent departing from the team, probably the biggest change-up they've seen so far.
Yeah, they still got the core fun center of the team, though, Steven there. I think that he's definitely a good representation of the attitude of that Animal House squad. Have a good time, but do it pretty well. I mean, he's had some great rounds. And I mean, the last double kill was awesome.
The last double kill defense was absolutely incredible. Probably one of the best defenses I've seen in a while. One of the most intense ones as well. It's just everything's against you, and he held his cool. He held his positioning. He knew exactly what he wanted to do.
That flash.
He executed it perfectly. That flash was perfect.
See if we get any more awesome plays like that on Quarantine as we hop into round number 1 of map 3. We are just tuning in. Animal House has secured the series, so they're looking good. They're playing for MMR here.
Yeah, that's so mean.
Quite frankly, Mob Squad could use some of that MMR right now. At least whatever they can get back.
Early spawn might catch Green Theft out on the rotation. Doesn't get picked off, but is able to radio in the spawn info. So instantly, shots coming over towards Traden and Phonic, and Green Theft posting up, waiting for Mob Squad to push out.
Very spread out defense coming out of Animal House, using up as much space as they can to find good positioning. Can go wrong if Mob Squad decide to centralize and push through at one point and just rush cap. We'll see if they choose to do that, as Mob Squad themselves are relatively spread out as well. Bluega and Green Theft Auto. Bluega's about to make his peak right now, it looks like. Or at least he was teasing it. Green has a watchful eye on that corner. I don't think he really has his gun pointed that way, though. He's not ready for it.
Wonder what Mob Squad's plan is now. Their spawn is definitely known, so unless they decide to really smoke out these streets, it's going to be hard to cross them. And a nade from Steven goes through the gap in the wall and takes down Phonic, so rotation from Traden is going to be called for there, and there are some eyes onto him right now.
But she does get the res. So far, Animal House do have this. It's actually still relatively locked down. There's a couple gaps, but it's not something that they can't defend.
I think it's probably going to be a little bit here before Mob Squad make their move, unless one of these guys gets a little over antsy, Green Theft or Bluega. Probably going to be a bit before they really decide to push out from this spawn area, because they are certainly trapped right now. That's opening up. Bluega with a real key pick on a Green Theft.
And that definitely opens up so many lanes of attack right there, since Green's position is so crucial. That south approach.
Fubuchu upset he's missing the shots and running through all his ammo. He can't possibly have that many clips left.
I mean, no one gave him a drum. Not everyone does that nowadays.
It's pretty common to see it happen, but seems like he's just running with normal mags, and he's trying to go up against Steven, tucked in behind the rubble. 2:30 left. They're gonna start to make their move soon as Bluega tries to and goes down by Willow.
Alright, that's 3 down then.
Steven with another pick. He's found so many already, and now there's only one left alive for Mob Squad. Steven does work here. I mean, he is really performing well for Animal House this series.
And Traden is just so far back. He's basically starting from square one with such a massive disadvantage. 4-1 right. 4 against 1 right now. I should say it's not 4-1. It's not clearly not the scores right now. We're still at 0-0. Oh, pretty good Traden.
One number off. Causing problems.
Traden casually trying to have a one-way conversation with me and you.
I'm gonna check the pad. No point.
We do see a couple moments of players, you know, recognizing the casters.
Oh, yeah.
Or I've done it a couple times, mainly with my name though. I don't like verbally do anything.
Oh,
But Traden gets a nice pick on Wicked.
good toss. He's not ready for Steven on the 2-story though, on the stairs, and he goes down. Some shots just over the wall, and Animal House continue winning and keeping the lead here as they advance 1-0 on Quarantine.
At this point, Animal House just have the velocity going for them. It's no longer a statistical thing. Mob Squad are... Imagine it's getting to their heads a bit now. And it doesn't exactly help that they weren't able to find 2 of their own team to get on, which is
Yeah.
already a kick in the pants, enough as is.
Pupichu and Traden have been some of the last ones alive consistently, but that also may be, you know, a negative effect because they are not moving up with the rest of the squad. Unsure, but, you know, they have definitely been pulling their weight in this series, so I don't even know if that's really the reason for Mob Squad not performing well. It might just be Mob Squad kind of on a... They're just in a bit of a rough patch right now. Some squads are experiencing that as a lot of these teams in the league have really ramped up their strategies and their consistency to those strategies.
Yeah, I think the league's skill set has definitely condensed. It's become much more competitive. We're not seeing such a spread of teams anymore. We're seeing more of a conglomerate of skill.
Yeah, some new faces in the top 10, which is always exciting, you know.
Yeah. I think Ember has really been a huge start, you know, beating Phoenix and then continuing upward. I think they beat their next round, right? Or no? Or
I think they lost against Lords of War.
Oh, okay. But Lords of War, then, they're
They've been
also
doing great too. Yeah, I know. They're another team that you gotta. Dead Logic's been doing great. There's a bunch of teams that have been playing quite well this season that are definitely going to be contenders for some top tier spots. Gonna get into some fast action as Pupichu gets up here onto this hilltop. Maybe able to find a couple at the very least. Bonic is going to be running into some action soon.
Well, Willow's already sneaking behind Pupichu's lines. Getting up to that plain nose. Question is, who will see who first, Traden or Willow? As Phonic finds the pick on Steven.
Willow just barely missing that nade up over the rubble. He's still trained in right onto where Traden is. Green Theft able to find Boopachu, who was, I believe, up at the top. Yeah, he was trying to flank there, trying to support Vonic, who's now trying to rotate around, taking some shots out towards Green Theft, who's in a bit of an awkward position.
Willow does find Traden because he knew exactly where he was going to peek. He just held the line, held the position, waiting for Traden to peek that head out, and that's that.
Animal House now 4v2. They're in some good spots here as Lipinski starts to push up and the smokes are coming out to get Willow into burning building. They really don't have good coverage on an objective. If Semper doesn't catch the cross, they can kind of just run right up to that wall and punch in the code.
Oh, definitely. It's hard to defend this objective with only 2 or 1 people.
That's what Willow's going to do.
Willow's already making this rush up. He's gone into the garage, probably to memorize the code or wait for... Oh, he's typing it in right now.
Yeah, he's getting the cap right here. Bluega.
Animal House are running away with it.
Semper just completely missing the entry point in there. And Willow with a nice cap. And like you said, Animal House running away with it.
It was cap-tastic today.
They're running like animals.
I see how this is. Probably gonna have chat or Trip and chat having a migraine now because he hates puns. Our fellow caster. Animal House are now on match point. Mob Squad have yet to really put themselves on the board.
Yeah, it's probably going to be tough here as Animal House are going to be going on the defense, and they have had some pretty strong defensive setups. And with this next objective, it's not exactly easy to attack unless you're really all on the same page.
And it's going to be hard for Mob Squad to be on the same page when practically half of their team is not from the team.
MIA.
Pretty much. They're great players, but you can have a team of all-stars, but if they don't work together, you're not going to get anywhere. I'm letting this out. I probably ran the 2-minute timer down to its drops.
Yeah, they've been doing that pretty consistently.
They're always fans of the whiteboard, I think.
Good times to be had on Animal House, that's for sure.
Definitely not the same for Mob Squad. Pretty somber start. Not much talking. Just saying where they're gonna go.
New position that has seen
Alright, I made it to Hummer.
some recent league play. Green Theft tucked into this turned over Hummer, and he'll have some pretty good angles that I doubt some of these teams are gonna. A lot of teams will be ready for. It is a new spot, and it's so good.
I don't think I've even seen that spot before, just to show you how ready I am for that. So keep a mental note of that.
Yep.
It's a great spot as well because it basically cuts off any further movement from that tank courtyard. And I don't think really anybody really expects that. And even if you do, it's hard to peek it and see because there's not much of you sticking out.
Even catching Bluega on the north, trying to come out the center. Our Semper here is going to be vulnerable to Green Theft's angle pretty soon if he tries to push up.
Here's the key. Will Green's positioning be good enough to catch out Semper? He does catch Poopachu.
Oh,
And Semper.
Man, nice double kill there.
That cheeky little hill from the turbine prevents the double tap, so Semper is calling out where probably he thinks Green would be. Quote from our Semper, he's not behind it, I think he's inside of it. You're not wrong, sir.
Yeah, and Traden aware of that position is going to start to put some rounds out towards it, but he is one of 2 left alive for Mob Squad in his 1v5. The other one is Phonic.
Green getting those call-outs out for the last 2 remaining members. Same time, our Semper is completely aware of Green Theft's positioning. Exactly what he's doing.
Made not quite far enough to hit inside that Hummer, and Traden having a tough time figuring out how to take down Green Theft inside this car.
Phonic finds Steven a massive pick given how Steven's been performing throughout this match. Traden gets the res on R Semper, and R Semper knows exactly where Green Theft Auto is. Green's spot might not be as clever as he thought it was before. He is peeking right at it, the laser pointed right through that turret hole of the overturned Hummer.
Minute 30 on the clock. They're going to have to start their advance soon, and there's still 4 left alive from Animal House on objective. Phonic has managed to catch 1. Slowly even things out.
A trade from Green Theft and our Semper.
Ooh, a huge pick from Willow there. If Traden had gotten any farther forward, he would have been pretty dang close to the objective. And now it's all up to Phonic with a minute left. Let's spot Lipinski.
2 down, I got the sniper.
Phonic could just take out Willow the Wisp. Pretty good chance of at least being able to get a quick cap if Wicked doesn't realize about the pick immediately. If Animal House's kill counts are off, the chances are Wicked might not even try to make the cross. He might know that people may be watching, but I only speculate. "20 seconds remaining on the clock. Time is in Animal House's favor here as Phonic tries to make his move on objective. The last man standing for Mob Squad here. He's got to pull out here. Willow's being noisy on objective, so Phonic knows exactly what's going on, where Willow is and whatnot.
Yeah, and he completely distracted Phonics as Wicked Hex shoots him in the back, and Animal House, in a deciding fashion, take the entire series, all 3 maps, with the final one going 4-0 in their favor, a total scoreline of 12-4. Todd, what are your thoughts on the series?
I think Willow was screaming Hordor. That's my thought.
Those are your final thoughts on the series. It was an interesting one. Mob Squad definitely a tough time with the reservists. definitely put up a good fight. We're in the lead, honestly, on cargo, and if it hadn't come down to a couple of nice caps from Animal House, things might have been a little bit different. But
very nice defense as well from Animal House. I think that's where we really saw Animal House shine the most. It's not on their offense, but how they're so reliably able to hold the defense and shut down any pushes from Mob Squad.
It has been a fun series to spectate, but I think that's going to be it from us this afternoon. My name... Oh, we're not there yet. If you want to get involved in the league, head on over to vrmasterleague.com/onward. You'll find the Twitter, Twitch, and Discord links. You can get involved in the community. You can register for a team of your own. You can play in the league. You can get your own reservist slot if you want, and you can be a substitute when teams need it. Also, you can sign up for other leagues that VR Master League does support, like Final Assaults, Pavlov, and Contractors. So make sure to check that out if you're interested in just getting involved in VR esports. Lastly, a shout out to our sponsors, ProTube VR and VR Cover. Always appreciate you guys supporting the league and giving prizes to our #1 team in the league. It's always fun to be able to give out a little reward. And with that, we'll be signing off. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. My co-caster, Todd Havercorn.
TFH.
Oh, TFH. We will see you later this week. This weekend?
Sometime. Plenty more action coming on your way.